Hello and welcome to Be Here Now, the Peaceful Empowerment Work Show, where presence provides perspective and invites peace. I am your co-host, Judy Forder, and I am here with my co-host in peace, Miss
Janice Leonard.
Hello, Janice.
Hello.
Before we move on, if you are enjoying our content, please like, comment, share, and subscribe. Yes, there we go. And today's topic, finding peace in the chaos. Finding peace in the chaos. All right, everybody, let's collectively take a deep breath as Janice rings us in. I was telling Janice, we have a pre-meeting before the show, and I always call it the pre-game. During our pre-game, I was telling Janice how much I really enjoy the singing bowl ringing us in, because it really helps ground me here. I get a little pre-show jitters sometimes, and that helps disperse those pre-show jitters.
Yes.
Brings me present. So thank you, Janice.
Especially, I don't know if it's as good on video as it is in person, but whoa.
Yeah, beautiful. All right, so we will begin with our meme of the week. Yay! Which I have been informed by my daughter that memes are out and old and outdated. But she did approve this one for this week. So our meme for the week moving forward is, it's an old cowboy fella with a shot in his hand, and he says, I'm going to steal your meme, but before I do, I'm going to hit that ha button because I got manners and shit. Yeah, that one, it gets me because, I have probably close to 900 memes shared or stored in my photo file, and so yeah, I need to remember to use my manners, because sometimes I just steal it and don't even hit the ha button.
Yes, it's important too. Yep.
Yes, we want to be kind and give credit too, but
and you do want to have manners and shit.
Manners and shit are very important. It's all part of being kind and respectful.
That's right. Maybe we should change the name of the show. Manners and shit. Finding peace in manners and shit.
If everybody had manners and shit, it'd be a much different place.
It would be. There'd be a little more peace, I suppose, right?
Exactly. All right. Moving forward to Janice. What's the good news for this week?
Oh, good news. There's so much good news. And I've been getting a lot of it from I go on Facebook, and it's that good news girl. A lot of them from her, so she gets credit for this because I got manners and shit. So go ahead. I love this one.
Oncoming traffic to save her human's life when she collapsed during their daily walk. Haley takes Clover, a Maremma mix, on a walk every single day, and she was taking her normal neighborhood route when she suddenly collapsed to the ground. Haley was having a seizure, and Clover immediately sprang into action. In the footage from a neighbor's security camera, you can see one car drive by, and it almost looks like in that moment, Clover had an idea. Haley was still holding Clover's leash, so she took a moment to free herself. And then, when another car came around the corner, Clover placed herself right in front of it, staring directly at the driver to flag down help. The driver of that car was a man named Dryden, and seeing what was going on, he sprung right into action too, going straight to Haley to check on her. He began talking to her, trying to tell her that help was there, and then he quickly ran up to the nearest house's front door and rang the doorbell in order to get additional help. That homeowner quickly called paramedics while Dryden focused on Haley, and Clover still didn't think her job was done. While Dryden and Danielle helped Haley, she ran back home. Haley's sister Riley came to the door to find Clover alone and followed her back to Haley, where she was able to be with her sister until paramedics arrived. Thanks to Clover and fast-acting neighbors, Haley got the care she needed in time, and after a few days in the hospital, hospital, she went home and she's doing well. Her family is endlessly grateful for Clover. I'm Jen, and I post something positive every day.
Oh, I love that dog.
She does post something positive every day.
She does. I've used a lot of hers. And the thing is he's not a trained service dog. This is just your average dog. There's no tricks here. And they're smart, and when you think about the bond they must have with their owner to actually be responding like that. I think I love my dogs. I think they love me, but I think they just sit there. I really can't imagine them doing that. So that's amazing. That's an amazing dog.
It is amazing. And it's amazing that, they're like you say, there's so many good news stories out there and there's so many good people. The fact that instead of driving around the dog and being like, what's wrong with you? Get out of the road.
Yeah.
You pay attention and you looked around and this gentleman got out to help. And, there's so many good people out there.
It would have been easier just to beep the horn and get mad at the dog being in the road.
Exactly. And not really pay attention because, you're tunnel vision in your own lane.
Yeah. And only that, so he responded. The house he went to, they answered the door, which, that doesn't even happen these days. People answering the door all the time. And then called and great. And then the dog went back to the house. Crazy.
Yes, and her sister. That's amazing too.
Yeah. I tried to show my dogs the video because I wanted them to learn that if anything ever happened, but I don't know. They didn't seem interested.
Yeah. I don't know that mine would be interested either. But my brother, he has a black lab, and he calls him his CPAP machine because my brother is not compatible, is the technical term they have learned with his CPAP machine. So he has struggles with sleep apnea, and he swears that his dog is the one that will wake him up if he stops breathing too long, and has saved his life quite a few times.
Wow.
Not a service dog either.
Yeah. Wow. Well, I got a Chihuahuas. What can I say?
You never know. Dogs are very intuitive. You're the one that feeds them and cares for them. If you go down, they're like, how am I going to eat?
That's true. I think my cat more likely would do something.
Oh, cats are so smart. Who knows what they would do? They have your phone open calling 911.
Oh, I can visualize that.
Yeah. So Jen actually follows Jen with the good news story a day. So, if we're not with you 6 other days during the week. So, take Janice's lead and follow this chick, Jen, because if you struggle finding good news, she's always got something up for you.
Yeah. And she's called That Good News Girl.
Yep. Perfect. All right. So on to this week's topic for our Pathways to Peace. Finding peace. Oh, sorry. We're changed. Finding peace in the chaos. And yes, we have a couple memes up because they help generate and guide some of the conversation. Janice, would you like to share the first one?
Being happy is a personal thing, and it really has nothing to do with anyone else.
No. And you read that and it's like,
it's like, duh, but not really. I'm camping again this week, and I've got a grandson who I've not in his whole life spent a week with him. And this is a whole week. And I'm really feeding on his energy. It's like, maybe he's not having a good time. And it's like, no, this is my lesson. One of my lessons for this week is you got to separate yourself. He's going to have his experience and I'm going to have my experience. They don't have to be the same.
No.
And, and if I can separate myself, I'll probably give him a better environment and maybe he will, or that's just how he is and who he is. And it's not about me. And so, that one really spoke to me. I'm glad. Thanks for picking that because I don't have to depend on him being happy, to me being happy, or to showing that he loves me and adores me
Mhm.
to be happy. It's not about other people.
No, and it was great because we were talking in pregame about this, and we have talked on the show about being on that non-judgmental observation deck, and the more you talked, it was like, look at what you've been able to do. You were sitting on that deck. That's where you were able to see that you had fallen into that old pattern of feeling responsible for everybody being happy.
Yeah.
And that's huge.
Yeah.
That's huge because then
It's,
you were able to choose whether you were going to stay in that pattern or you were going to get out of it.
it's interesting because I see my daughter and I see does the shutdown in her world thing
Mm-hmm.
and worry, oh, I can't, worry about people. And this time I see myself doing it, but I see myself doing it. So I'm in that other layer of not just knowing it's true, but I'm starting to say, whoa, look at what I'm doing.
Yes.
So I'm proud that I'm at that level. I wish I was better, but I'm proud of the fact that I've gotten to the next step.
Yes.
And you don't even realize it until I see my daughter,
Mm-hmm.
or for me, I live in this house, I work from home, and I've got a pretty controlled environment here.
Mm-hmm.
And I've gotten too used to it. So now I go camping and it's not the same environment. Everything's different. And all of a sudden it's like, whoa, it feels like chaos, even though it's certainly I've been in real chaos in my life. This isn't real chaos, but it is in terms of the dogs have to be leashed now, and the kids are here and they're going to make them happy. Are they going swimming? It's chaos. And I've let myself, and here I am. Thankfully, we have this on Thursday, so I can take the time to think about it. And hopefully you do too, is that I was being in the chaos again and shut down instead of stepping back, at least, which is my next step I'm working on, and looking at it and saying, I don't have to be in the chaos that I'm creating. I can pull back.
Yeah, it's funny. That observation deck is a very interesting place to be because you are watching yourself move through the pattern. And when you can do that, the whole non-judgmental thing was something that, of course, wasn't something that happened with me immediately. Because I would sit on that observation deck and then beat myself up, which then pulls me down into it.
Yeah.
And it would pull me right off of that observation deck. Because the whole point of watching is to watch with that non-judgmental energy. Because you're learning. You're collecting information about the patterns the automatic patterns, like Robin was talking about last week with the autonomic nervous system. You got triggered into that old space of I need to control everything because that's how I handle feeling like I don't have any control.
Yeah.
So that whole new environment at the campground and with kids and the dogs got to be leashed and you're out of that routine, which threw you into that. So, kudos to you for being able to jump up on that observation deck and see what the heck was going on.
Yeah. And I traditionally felt like I was responsible for everybody's happiness.
Mm-hmm.
Like I needed to make them happy. I'm responsible. And, I'm not as young as I used to be. And I'm not going to be playing with the kids. And, and I can sit in judgment of myself, which I do. Oh, you should be doing more. Why don't you go up to the pool? Why don't you do this? Why don't you do that? And that's where I live, instead of, well, I can continue to do that. Or I can say, well, this is who I am. I am now 60 years old and I like a quiet life and it's okay. And so what can I do with that? And so, this is dissonance, huge dissonance, that chaos for me. This is what I was thinking. It's the dissonance between this is, how I think I should be.
Right.
Versus who I am or who I want to be. I don't know. I guess I just want to be myself. That's the peaceful place. So that dissonance you have the whole time, the whole week, it's like, oh, but I'm creating.
Here in Janice, what's at the core of you feeling responsible, making everybody happy? Because if everybody's happy, then what?
They'll love me.
There you go. And that's what it all boils down to. It's that trauma response because you felt like you had to work hard to be loved.
Yeah.
It wasn't just something that is because of the amazing person that you are.
Yeah. Yeah. No. absolutely true.
Yeah. I mean, I know the first time I was told, your happiness is a personal thing. It's all on you. And I'm like, what? But all these people in my life are making me unhappy. And they're like, nobody can do that to you unless you give them permission and the power.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, fuck, now what?
Yeah.
What's next? So, I mean, that's where the other meme comes into play. The only person you can save is you. And we talk about this. You and I have talked about this a lot since we've known each other, about how we are our own superheroes. It doesn't matter what book you read, who you ask, or what advice you get. Nobody else can do the work for you. You either save yourself or you stay where you are. It's your choice.
Yeah.
And it's not about, the interesting thing is, back in the day when I read that, I'd be like, oh, it's your choice. How snippy and snarky is that?
Yeah.
But it's just the truth. We have a choice. And the whole thing about peace is being peaceful, being at peace with the choice we make. It doesn't mean it's a right or wrong one. This is the right choice for me in this moment, right now, and being at peace with that, not beating yourself up.
Yeah. It's interesting because my sister just came up yesterday and talked about my layer. You heal in layers is my belief, and she's a whole other layer of healing for me. I thought I had to do everything that she wanted, and so she's there today, and she thinks that I shouldn't have this chaos. I shouldn't have grandkids around me trying to take care of everybody. Well, there's certainly truth to that, maybe, but that's not who I am. I am going to try, but that's that layer of judgment she's always had for me. And if I didn't do what she thought, I felt I was bad. And I thought that I was wrong. And, I grew up thinking that I had to do what she thought. And then at some point, and it still triggers even a little bit, even though I think I'm over it, is that she's there. And I know she's thinking, as I'm sitting there thinking, oh, yeah, it was a stressful day. And she's thinking, well, yeah, you should have. I know that I see myself doing that. And I have to, okay. I can live in that chaos with you of I should, would, could have done, or I can be here, accept who I am, and try to live in peace. And even just that new thing coming at you, it's, you get it all the time, bombarded at you. It's really, who are you? Who do you want to be? And being at peace with that.
Yes.
And that's a lot of layers. I'm getting there. That's nice.
And and the layer thing, absolutely. We heal at various levels, and we understand various levels, because a lot of the practices, a lot of these things we've heard year after year after year. And, it just, every time it's a deeper understanding of the fact that we really do, by the choices we make, have the power to live a life filled with joy. And it doesn't mean that we don't come across hard times. It doesn't mean that we still don't get angry and feel pain and grief. It just means we understand that we're, here to feel all of the feels. And there's nothing wrong about any of them. And when we take responsibility for our life, our happiness, it encourages and sets the example for everyone around us to do the same thing. Yeah. We've been so conditioned to believe that material things will make us happy. It's somebody else's responsibility to make us happy. And if I'm miserable, it's because of this and you and blah, 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 blah. And, that first level of, okay, you need to look at yourself. I was telling Janice in the pregame, my daughter has been the biggest mirror for me in my life. And she's been my motivation for doing this work. And, I started out a rager, and that, thank goodness, has shifted. But when I look at her, the very thing I was talking to Janice about was, before she left for college, I had to keep having conversations with her about, now remember, you're going there to learn. No one expects you to know all the information yet. So ask the questions, get the tutor if you need it, blah, 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 blah. And then, I started, I literally said out loud to Jen, where did she get that from? And Jen was like, seriously? you don't know? And, this is something that, yes, I would always go out of my way to prepare, and I didn't want to look like I didn't know anything. And obviously she picked that up, and I didn't know it. So when we talk about, you going within and serving yourself and listening, learning to trust and listen to that voice within, it's not selfish. People are learning from our example. People are learning from watching. People are learning because our lives are shifting. Janice has more joy in her life today than she did when I met her. I have more joy in my life today than I did when I met Janice. Yeah. Now, she plays a part in that because A, she holds me accountable, and B, she lights my life up. She makes me happy, she challenges me, and she keeps me honest. And that's what, I'm learning. These are the kind of people that we surround ourselves with. We want to surround ourselves with people that hold themselves accountable, take responsibility for how they show up. They don't point the finger at you and gaslight, but they are honest and they hold you accountable.
Yes.
So, and that's what we're talking about. Either save yourself or stay the way you are. The choice is yours. Non-judgmental, the choice is yours. Whatever choice you make, don't beat yourself up for it, because the joy of our lives is the fact that 10 minutes from now, 2 hours from now, 2 years from now, we can reevaluate based on what we've learned through experience and change the choices that we make.
Yeah.
It's never too late.
One of the things that's happened is I get these, like, I'll call them anxiety attacks, but this feeling my whole body would go, and you'd feel it right down. Mm-hmm. That would happen a lot because I think that, oh no, I'm wrong, I'm bad, I'm whatever. And I don't have that. I rarely have that anymore.
Well, it's interesting. It's I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but it popped in my head so quick because your friend Karen, who we're going to have on the show, I knew of Brene Brown, but taking her course, Fearless Confidence, really, had Brene up in my face. And one of the key things that she said was, guilt is I did something wrong. Shame is I am wrong.
Yeah.
So that for me was it gave me the tool to say, okay, is this guilt or is this shame?
Yeah.
And I don't carry shame anymore.
Yeah.
And I work through guilt.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a big, huge shift. And having actually her verbalize that for me made me aware of it, where that feeling is, oh no, I'm bad, I'm no good, or that feeling that comes over me, that is shame, is I am worthless. That's a kind of the core feel, underneath all that, right. As opposed to I feel guilty because I'm not doing more, but because you can work through that. Okay, but I don't want to do more. I'm just going to be there. I'm the emotional support, the love person. I'm not the do things and play person.
Yes.
So that's a shift.
But there's a lot to be said for being the consistent.
Yeah.
When I was teaching high school and middle school, even the elementary school, the biggest thing at the high school was I was always there. I was the one constant thing when those kids went to the gym, I was there. And whether they said hello, whether they conversed with me or not, I was that staple. You being that consistent in your life for the people that you love is huge. It's not about running around and playing on playgrounds and jumping in pools and doing those things. It's about you sitting there and being that light. Remember, I love the lighthouse. Lighthouses don't run around the islands looking for people to save. Yeah. They just stand strong and shine. You are standing strong and you're shining.
It's hard because the old me would say, what? I'm not worthy if I'm not making a difference unless I'm doing something. Mm-hmm. I have to be doing something. That is such a shift for me to think from I have to be helping people, doing things, giving things, to just being. Yeah. It still amazes me.
Yeah. Huge shift. Congratulations.
Thanks.
All right. On that note, I think this is a perfect place for us to take a little commercial break. And we'll be right back with more Pathways to Peace. And we are back. Thank you for being here now with us, the Peaceful Empowerment Work Show. We are talking about, in our pathways to peace, finding peace in the chaos. So the next meme we have is, you can't calm the storm, so stop trying. What you can do is calm yourself. The storm will pass. It all boils down to our relationship with ourselves, what we choose to pick up and carry and what we choose to step over and around. And that leads to this quote from Brene Brown. When someone spews something really hurtful, don't pick it up, don't hold it, and rub it into your heart and snuggle with it and carry it around for a long time. Don't even put the energy into kicking it to the curb. You got to see it and step over it, or go around it and keep going. You know.
Amen.
Yeah. And we could have 50 wonderful positive comments about the show, and if there's one, I have to very consciously make that choice not to pick it up, hold it, rub it into my heart.
That happens to me too, assuming Judy's going to come back. My first show, I was very scared, and I sent out a email to my family members. Well, what'd you think? And my sister's response was not what I had hoped I would hear. And I took that so much to heart and thought, oh, why am I even doing this? Forget it. I'm not going to do this anymore. See, who am I fooling? Who am I fooling by doing this, thinking that maybe I can help or offer an insight into other people? And that was my first challenge since I started this show. And it took me a while. I had to talk to myself and say, well, that's one person's perspective. And you know what? This show probably isn't really for her and for what she thinks about and where she's at in life. So I'm so glad you're back. But I was doing well by myself for a minute.
You're doing great for someone backstage.
So she said something, and it took me, I was probably pretty depressed for about a week. And then it's like, okay, first of all, I need to learn from this, because you know what? This isn't about me. This is about her. I don't have to take this on. This is what she's saying. If this show isn't for everybody, it's not going to make everybody say, not everyone's going to say, oh, this is great. I'm doing it because I'm hoping, and I'm hoping I can make a difference, share some wisdom, and be there, make a difference. And so I really got over it. Amen. But it was really hard. But I did hug that, as my sister, and what she says, that came right back. Mm-hmm. And so I was really impressed that I was able to do that.
Yeah. And now look at you. I mean, your daughter watched the show a couple weeks ago, and nothing but praise.
Yeah.
Nothing but praise.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it really is a choice what we hold on to. And again, we've just been brought up in a society where judgment is expected, and it's accepted. Not only expected, but it's accepted as the norm. And in my world, I just want people that are going to be kind and respectful. And that doesn't mean that you're not going to be truthful. It doesn't mean that we have to have, agree on everything. Just be kind and respectful about it. Those old, the old days when we could have conversations where we didn't have the same beliefs and we didn't agree, I feel like have gone out the door, because the second you don't agree, then anger ensues.
I just posted something on my Facebook. I think if I can quickly find it. I love it. And of course, now I probably won't be able to. Oh, there you go. Here I am. Okay, I'm going to share this one. This is the post I did on Facebook. I saw a post I didn't agree with. I didn't get offended. I didn't comment. I didn't feel the need to change their mind. I just kept scrolling and went on with my day. More should practice this.
Ugh.
That was just so powerful, especially now that I'm in a little bit of the world of social media now. It floors me. The comments, we haven't had any, thankfully, but but when you read them, like once in a while I'll read them, and because I'm not aware of it, and I don't know if I'll read, except the comments that are coming to us for questions and that. I don't know if I would read them if I was in the mainstream, because there's just so many that are nasty.
Yeah.
Anyways,
and
so no, and it's ill-informed. I mean, like that. Sometimes they're just like, no, that's not what was happening. No. Anyways, so I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole because it's not worth it. And I hope that anybody else, whether it's on social media and in your life, when you hear that or see that, you don't pick it up and hold it, because it's what lack of knowledge, lack of understanding, lack of whatever. It's not about you. It's
no. And we were talking again in the pregame and just talking about one of the most powerful days for me was the day that I could finally admit, going from a belief that I needed to know everything prior to I know nothing. I really don't know anything. All I know is what's true to me and what feels true to me. And I've really had to learn to trust that inner knowing, because there is so much that's fake out in the world, and in order for me to move through this world in any kind of calm and peace, requires me to be able to trust myself and my instincts and my intuition. So
trust yourself.
It's so important. So us having these internal dialogues, sometimes it can feel crazy because the triggered parts of you are very old. So having to pause and ask, okay, is this something that's going on in this experience now? Is this something from the past? It can feel like, you're having a conversation with a completely different person.
Yeah.
But, and you are. I'm a completely different person today than I was 15 years ago when I started this journey. Yeah. Completely different. Yeah. So, when that old, I call her the old Judy, the inner child Judy, because the inner child is the one that is triggered, whether she's not feeling safe, she doesn't feel loved, she's, all of those, I will call them old outdated beliefs that are still living in that cell memory, still in there, that get triggered. It's not about, sit down and shut up. It's about looking at that little girl, that inner child, embracing and saying, what do you need in order to feel safe?
Yeah. When I was growing up, my sister was my lifeline. Mm-hmm. She's the one who took care of me. She's the one who made me my clothes. She's the one who was there. I mean, she was my big sister. And I depended on her for livelihood. I didn't have a mother. I had a stepmother who wasn't present where I needed. And I had a sister. And that's not the situation now. I can live totally independent of my sister and her beliefs. I don't have to have her there with me, believing this like I believe, or I don't have to believe like she believes. Mm-hmm. It's a different me. And it's when it comes up, I have to be able to say, okay, that's not what's happening now. I'm not going to die. I'm not going to be worthless if I disagree with her. Yeah. Or if she disagrees with me.
Mm-hmm. That's so good. That's so good, Janice.
Yeah.
It's so good. Whenever we're triggered, angry, whatever, the first step is to look within. Because if we're triggered, it means there's a lesson there. There's a lesson to learn, and there's healing that needs to be done. Yeah. And when we're kind and respectful to ourselves, it makes it easy to show up and be kind and respectful to others.
Yeah.
I have a friend that anytime she does for herself, which is few and far between, she calls herself selfish, or she calls herself an asshole, or a selfish asshole, or whatever. And finally I was like, would you stop doing that? The very few times you actually go out and do something for yourself, you need to celebrate that. Don't play it down. Don't buy into the bullshit, because that's what it is.
Yeah.
If we're not taking care of ourselves, then we are not being present. We are not able to see the truth of what's going on, and we're not able to serve the others around us in a capacity that we are meant to.
That reminds me of something that's so closely tied to this, and I wanted to talk about someday, is boundaries. It's very closely tied, because healthy boundaries are a really good thing. For example, it's not my job to make everybody happy. That's my boundary. Okay, I'm not going to take on everyone's problems.
Yes.
I will be there to support you in the way I can. I will be there, but setting those healthy boundaries is so important. They're not bad, and it's not about being bad because you have a boundary.
Right.
And my boundary now is my sister's. We live separate lives now. We are going to live different lives. She's a wonderful person. It's nothing about her, and I'm a good person. I'm a wonderful person,
Yes,
and that's okay. We have separate lives, and I don't have to make sure she's happy with me all the time. That's my boundary, and learning that has been so critical to me.
Yes. Once you were able to set that healthy boundary, didn't it invite peace in?
Oh man, day and night. Yeah, because it's saying, you know what, I'm okay, because this stuff over here isn't me. And that's part of it, is realizing, part of what we've been talking about this whole time is there's someone else and their stuff, and then there's you. And there's a boundary between that.
Yeah.
And that is good.
Yes.
It doesn't mean you're not loving and caring. It's not about that. You can still be loving and caring, but you're just not taking on and being part of this. You can support it and love them.
Yes. Yes. And being the people pleaser. We joke that we're recovering people pleasers. Being the people pleaser, we very much took on everybody else's energy too. So one of the first things I had to get used to was what the energy of me felt like. Yeah. And there's layers to the chaos that we're dealing with in the world. There's worldwide, there's our nation, there's our communities, there's our families, and then there's the chaos that lives within us. Yeah. Because of everything that's going on. So when you can figure out what is your energy and what is not, that is crucial. That is a crucial step right there, because otherwise you don't know what the hell you're dealing with. I know that is my
chaos.
Shit.
It's chaos.
Yes. So, being able to figure out what is you, being able to figure out what you can control and what you can't control. There are things that would occupy my mind and my thoughts, and I would feel like there was something I should be able to do about it, that we're on a worldwide level. And the best thing I can do is take care of me and heal me, because the more love, joy, kindness, respect that I can show up with and bring to the world, I'm setting that example for others.
And the better the world can be.
Myself, and that's where we have to move beyond those old outdated beliefs that taking care of you first is selfish. So if you got chaos in your life, do a little inventory. What is the chaos, and what can you take action and do something about, and what you can't? Because what you can't, you just need to throw the hell away. Don't let that occupy your mind and take your energy. Focus on what you can. Yeah.
And that's how I used to, believing that I could control everything growing up, I could make everyone love me, is I would focus on, in a non-healthy way, I'd focus on, I can make anybody like me. I can do it. I really was like, I can, but I would change. I would be a certain way for this person, a certain way for that one. And I felt like they were all parts of me. So I was like, oh, there's just different parts of me I'm showing. But, as time goes on, that happy, I used to tell them, oh, you used to be happy all the time. Yeah. I wanted people to like me. I needed people to like me. And now I'm more myself, and, I'm not happy all the time. And I guess it's okay.
Of course it's okay. We are meant to feel all the feels.
Yeah. But I'm being myself now, and it's weird because I'm not who I thought I should be. It's who I am. It's different.
You're who you are meant to be.
Yeah.
And you're continuing, we're always growing, evolving. We're always learning every day. Every single day we're learning more and more about ourselves. And that's because we're choosing to be present.
Yeah.
If you choose to be present in the moment, then you can pause and ask the questions.
Yeah.
And that calms the chaos. And chaos looks different to everybody. My chaos may not be. Janice is like, well, I don't understand. There's nothing chaotic about that. It's everybody's chaos looks different.
Yeah.
My sister loves the hustle and bustle of the city. Can't stand it. It's too much for me.
Me too.
So everybody's different. Everybody looks different. Everybody's energetic imprint is different.
Yeah.
So to compare ourselves to others, like we've been conditioned to do, nobody wins. Well, somebody wins, but we're not going to get into that.
Yeah. That's another day.
Yeah, another day. We're not going to breach that one right now.
Yeah.
So we're going to wrap up this part of the segment. But Janice, with everything that we've shared, do you have one pearl of wisdom that you would like to drop so people could walk away with it?
I just come back to the thing I continue to work on, which is just being myself. It's okay. I don't have to be taking care of these people. If I'm myself, I can be more centered and I can be more full of love instead of anxiety and chaos. And therefore, the giving and the things that I want to do will happen by being myself.
Perfect.
So it's okay. Sit there. Be there.
Yes. I love that. I love that. You know, you are the creator of your own story. So I was working with a client earlier this week, and the last message her team had for her was, it's your world now. Create wisely. So when you start setting those boundaries, remember you have the power. I created the shit in my life. Well, I also have the power to create the joy and the happiness. So step into that light, step into that power, and don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to turn and look at your shadows, because they're not the nasty beasts that we think they are. They're there to teach us a lesson, to help us heal, and to help us move forward.
Yes.
All right. So with that being said, Janice, would you like to share your message about our nonprofit organization?
I will. We are a 501c3 nonprofit organization, which means you can donate to us and write it off on your taxes. So please, we do this for free. We love it, but we do have expenses. If you're able to make a donation, if it's at least $25, I will make you a t-shirt. If it's $50 more, I will make you a sweatshirt. And just email me, because we're not set up so I automatically get notices. So just email me at peacefulempowermentworks@gmail.com. Let me know what size you are, what color you'd like, and we'll figure it out, and I'll send it out to you.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yes, that's one of the t-shirts. And when I get on, I put all kinds of colors. And, if you're patient, I can probably order a color. All kinds of sizes, too.
Perfect. Now, we're excited. Next week, we have a new guest on the show. Her name is Amy Patuk, and she is a bio-well technician. So I don't know too much about it. Janice doesn't know too much about it, and we're excited to learn.
Yes, all kinds of learning here.
Yes.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you. Great conversation and insights. Thank you. Katie Anna was one of my first spiritual teachers when I started this healing journey. So I appreciate your support, Katie.
That's wonderful.
So thank you again for choosing to be here now with us. And please always remember,
you're not alone.
And never forget, you are awesome. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next week.
See you next week.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.